Welcome back to the desert, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. A couple of things we're going to be working on today. The first thing is I'm going to fix the fix that I fixed previously for the forward hold. You may remember when I did the lighting check, the lights in the corridors are warm white and the lights in the forward hold are bright white. Initially, I did that on purpose. I have the same thing in my house for like my workbench and stuff, places I need to see. I have bright white lights, and then for rooms where I want ambiance, I will have warm white lights. But having them all wired up together and having a bird's eye view, so to speak, it didn't look good. So I figured wall sconces should be wall sconces. So the wall sconces are white with flat white wall sconces with warm white lights behind them. So that's what I'm going to do. I mixed up some paint, but then I decided, nope, first I should probably clean off or take off the old lights and then clean off all the excess glue, and there's some aluminum foil on there as a light blocker, just to make sure everything's nice and clean before I start painting. Would have been simpler, of course, if I just did them the same color to start with. But, I had a plan, but looking at it, in the end, it didn't look so good. So I'm going to switch it back. It doesn't take that much longer, just a few hours. I think this one section was maybe, 20 hours of video footage. So, yeah, not that long, just half a week. As I'm painting the back sides of the sconces, I kept blowing through them just to make sure that there was no excess paint in the openings, and some paint did splatter to the inside of the walls. So I just initially used some water to get that paint splatter off, and now I'm just painting the front sides of the sconces. Decided to also add some color to that little console in the corner that I built. Before it was just gray, the same color as the walls, so I'm just adding some black to the base, and I added some white to the top part. Just touching up the floors a little bit. And I think it looks pretty good. Happy with that. There you go. Yeah, I think it definitely looks much better. It looks clean too with the white sconces on the gray walls. So now I just want to make sure I have enough warm white lights left for these sconces. I have a whole roll left, so I could cut some new ones. But I have this bag of old parts, and I found enough. So I'll just use these for the new front hold sconces. I apologize for my hand being dirty, but I made a new soldering station just out of some wood I had in the garage, and then I painted it black, and of course I just held it with my hand, and I ran out of paint thinner. So that's the best I could do for now. I just have to wait for the rest of the paint to wear off. I decided to use Cat 5 wire that I had lying around because it was thinner than some of the wire that I had, but I won't do it again. It's almost impossible to strip. So I was using a lighter for a little bit, and I used the soldering iron to help strip it again. Went back to the lighter again. It's almost impossible to strip, and it's too thin for my wire strippers. Even my small ones, my hobby strippers that strip very thin wire, it won't strip it. So once I got all the lights wired up, I'll run through and just test them again one more time just to make sure they still work. Yep, still works. Just holding in place with tape and then using my favorite stuff, the liquid electrical tape. Just want to make sure I'm just dabbing it on, just because I want to make sure it doesn't flow underneath that tab for the light, because I just need it to block the light around the outside. I don't need it to go into the sconce itself. I'm just going to hold them in place with tape and then use the liquid electrical tape to kind of keep them in place. While I'm waiting for the tape to dry, I figured I'd go ahead and light up the little console in the corner. I think there's something like 40 holes I counted. I think I ended up cutting like 32 or 36 fibers. I figured that was enough. I got tired of cutting fibers, and I figured also you're not going to see it. I just need some light to reflect up on the wall from this console, so it looks like you can see the lights flashing, because I don't think you'll actually be able to see it through the opening in the upper hull. Here I am flaring the ends very slightly, just to give us just a little bit brighter light when it comes through on the console. And the main nav console and the main hold, I didn't flare the lights because I want each button or each light to be quite small. A 1/43rd scale, this is a 1/4 millimeter fiber, would be a 1 centimeter, about a half inch, a little less, about a half inch button or a light. So that's a pretty good size. I think that's pretty normal. But since, again, you're not going to be able to actually see this console, I just need the idea. I just need the reflection or the illumination of lights on the wall reflecting when you look in through the doorway. That's the effect I'm going for. So hopefully that'll work. I'm just using the overhead lights, so they're all white now. Of course, there are going to be red, white, and blue when I'm done. It's annoying. I have to use the tweezers to take the tape off because I have no fingernails from practicing guitar. Just checking the fit here. As you can see, the bulkheads fit pretty closely together. There is a slight stick out bump because of the wires that are going through, but that's not a problem. There's plenty of space on the wall behind the bunk in the main hold that I can just remove a little bit of plastic to make space. So here you see my issue with removing the insulation from the wire, and what happens if you heat up a copper wire too long. And then this happens. So I was going to have one wire kind of connecting all 4 of those lights together and then coming off the side. But since that one broke, I'm like, screw it. I'm just going to make, attach the first 2 together and then have all the wires going through behind the pipe in the main hold. And then I'm going to have the junction there. There's plenty of space, so I don't need to worry about it anymore, and nobody's going to see it. I'm pretty confident with my soldering skills. This is very thin plastic, so if I were to drop a drop of solder on the back of that wall, it would go right through. But I didn't, and nothing happened, and all's good. But I'm about to make a big mistake here. Can you see the problem? So I just put a second piece of tape over the first one and then cut out where I need to solder on. But there's still a mistake. See if you can tell what it is. For connecting the lights together, I decided to do them the same way I did for the sconces in the corridors, by having those looped or curved wires like that. That allows me some flexibility in positioning. Yep, I just realized what I did wrong. It ends up working out okay because behind the pipe in the main hold is a hollow area, and by me making the mistake I did, I had to put the lights in sideways, which actually worked better because they fit behind the pipe much better. Here you can still see them. I have them vertical, but as I go and install them, I need to turn them sideways. And again, it ended up fitting better. So I think I had a good mistake. So rather than using the liquid electrical tape to attach them, because I don't feel like waiting for it to dry, I just used a drop of CA glue in the corners just to hold them in place, and then I'll do the light blocking with the tape later. Here you can see I'm mounting them sideways. Yeah, I'm happy with that. That looks good, I think. Back to the internal mount. So you saw the parts I had before. My idea for this is to wrap it in carbon um, in a couple locations, and then have that big piece wrapped over the top tube, basically making the wood and the carbon tube and the bolts that I'm going to put through it all one piece. I don't know. This is only really the first time I've worked with carbon fiber. I don't know if the fabric I got is stiffer than normal, or if I'm doing it completely wrong. Probably me, because I've never done it before. But I couldn't get it to hold its place around the wood and around the curved tube. So what I decided to do was wrap it up in parchment paper, and I didn't have any surgical tubing, which is what I would have used. So I used some nylon string, which is kind of stretchy, and then wrapped it around as much as possible to kind of hold everything in place. I did that 3 times, so there's 3 layers of carbon on here now. 2 over the top, a couple on the sides, including where the bolts are going to go through, and then some carbon around the bottom as well, where the bolts are going to enter from the bottom. So it feels really solid, and of course it's extremely light. So here I am. Just this is not really necessary at all. There's going to be no weight or no load put on that section, but I had some glue left over, so I just wanted to kind of fill in the top. A little bit of sanding to make the sides nice and smooth, and then doing a test fit. So as you may remember, I tried to get the height set up correctly before I put everything together, but of course needed to do another test fit. Now it's the correct height, so now I can drill the holes and make sure everything is mounted strongly and correctly together. So I got some furniture inserts, little brass inserts. So I'm going to put that into the wood. I'm going to fill the holes with super glue as well before I insert them, so that it's a nice, good, solid bond, and then super glue them in as well. And then that should hold everything together. Right here, I don't have the 2 through bolts yet, because I figured the ship isn't that heavy yet. And it works. I'm really happy with the design. It slips on nicely. The angle is just good enough that it holds the Falcon in place. It doesn't feel like it's going to slide anywhere. It does tip a little bit because, of course, there's no set screw or anything in there right now. Once the mandibles are on, the front is going to be very heavy. I don't know how much extra weight I'll be adding in the back with electronics, etc. So I might have, right now I just have the Dremel tool in the back. But you can see there's plenty of space for the turrets as well. Here now, I had some black 3.0, so I decided to go ahead and paint the whole internal structure with black 3.0. Matte black would be fine, because as long as it's not reflective, it'll work. But again, I had 3.0 lying around, so might as well do it. It's kind of a pain in the butt to paint with, though. But there you have it. I think it looks kind of cool. Again, not necessary, but it looks nice. And there's the finished result. Yeah, the arm I'm using, it's like for a 40-pound monitor. It was one of the heaviest ones I could find for under like $250. But yeah, I'm pretty happy. Thanks so much for watching. See you guys in a couple weeks.